Yo, what up? It's Razor Pop lah!
Japanese disaster film 252 Signal of Life is in cinemas at the moment. In the film, we'll see the citizens of Tokyo dealing with the aftermath of earthquake and typhoon that hit the metropolitan city. Why the numbers 252? Well, 252 is the signal code used by the elite hyper-rescue units to convey that there are survivors.
Yep, so what is a disaster movie? Well, disaster movies are films which usually explore the relationships and or social politics of people or a country dealing with a disaster. Now, the disaster could be impending, such as an asteroid collision, or ongoing, like an erupting volcano, or it could be based during the aftermath of a disaster, such as dealing with an earthquake.
Okay, so right now we are letting you in on the best 3 disaster movies and also the top 3 disastrous disaster movies. Check it out.
Top 3 disaster movies.
Elusive. Unpredictable.
Twister. The 1996 disaster film stars Helen Hunt as a storm chaser, someone who gathers data of severe weather conditions. Her character Jo builds an advanced storm reading device named Dorothy, of which needs to be deployed into the eye of the twister, or tornado. Thus sets up scenes of high tension, drama and exciting narrow escapes. The film was nominated for 2 Oscar awards for Best Effects and Visual Effects in 1997. Made with a budget of $92 million, the movie was a financial hit, grossing a revenue of more than $494 million. And with that kind of profit, you can't go wrong.
Race against time as one tiny spark becomes
Towering Inferno. If you recently got into disaster films, you owe it to yourself to watch The Towering Inferno. The 1974 film won 3 Academy Awards, 2 BAFTAs and 2 Golden Globes, and is described as the best disaster movie ever made. Bear in mind that this was made way before the computer graphics and special effects that we are so used to in current cinema. The late Paul Newman and Steve McQueen play an architect and a fire chief respectively, as they try to facilitate the rescue of hundreds of guests when an electrical fire quickly engulfs the tallest building in the world.
Susan Blakely, Richard Chamberlain, Jennifer
Life.
Was it any doubt that Armageddon would be left off from our top list of disaster movies? I think not! The film exudes the music video melodramatic stylistics of director Michael Bay, who directed Transformers and its upcoming sequel. Starring the high caliber cast of Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, Billy Bob Thornton and Liv Tyler, whose father's band Aerosmith performed the song I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, which was taken from the soundtrack to the movie. This movie had everything: forbidden love between Affleck's and Tyler's character, a fearless leader in Bruce Willis's character representing the strength of the human spirit, top-notch computer graphics, and finally a now classic rock ballad song from Aerosmith. Look past the quick MTV editing and the scientific inaccuracies, and you too would agree that this disaster movie was far from a disaster.
Not sure if that's going to work. Yeah, one more thing.
Top 3 disastrous disaster movies.
Hello?
The Day After Tomorrow is probably one of the worst movies that everybody saw, but nobody really liked. Jack Hall, played by Dennis Quaid, is a climatologist who predicts that Earth, all due to global warming, will see the return of the Ice Age. Strange and violent weather conditions rage across the world, freezing everything that comes in contact with it. The visual effects offered eye candy, but any chance of an engaging story was probably frozen to death. I left the cinema feeling like the story never was told and the whole movie was a long chase sequence. It would have been more engaging and interesting to explore the human race living in a post-apocalyptic environment, but who knows, maybe there might be a sequel. The Day After Tomorrow? Japan Sinks, or The Sinking of Japan, is a 2006 remake of a 1973 film, which is adapted from the novel with the same name. Not unlike 252 The Signal of Life, an earthquake hits Japan and soon scientists learn that Japan has less than a year before it will sink into the sea. Panic takes over the country as they flee to neighbouring shores. Millions die from earthquakes and tsunamis. Throughout the chaos, there emerges a plot on romance between the 2 lead characters, which ultimately results in the main lead sacrificing himself for the greater good of the country. The filmmakers could have concentrated on exploring the socio-political impact of the Japanese people now becoming refugees in other countries. But no, what you get is mass destruction from afar and a cliched love story. Japanese, being the innovators that they are, must have realized how bad the movie was and actually made a spoof out of the movie entitled The World Sinks Except Japan. Our advice? Ditch the disaster movie and rent the spoof instead.
It turns day.
Starring former James Bond Pierce Brosnan, 1997's Dante's Peak is about a volcano erupting in the fictional small town of Dante's Peak. Brosnan plays Dr. Harry Dalton, a volcanologist who arrives in town to check out the dormant volcano, and gasp, finds out that it is in fact waking up. The film was praised for its scientific accuracy, but bombarded for its terrible acting by its cast. But we aren't watching it for its acting, right? Well, sad to say, there isn't much of a story here either. The better half of the movie is for action sequences only. And if you just have to satisfy your thirst for a volcano-themed disaster movie, at least Dante's Peak is a clear winner over Tommy Lee Jones' Volcano.
Yo, what up? It's Razor Pop lah!